it different scoring a spectacular goal to a normal goal? Does it feel better?
Yeah.
Matt Le Tissier.
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 Matt Le Tissier. Matt Le Tissier. Matt Le Tissier.
Matt Le Tissier. Matt Le Tissier.
Matt Le Tissier.
Matt Le Tissier.
Matt Le Tissier.
Matt Le Tissier.
Matt Le Tissier. Matt Le Tiss.
Matt Le Tissier, the God.
People have often said, you know, did you enjoy being the big fish in the small pond? And I'll be honest with you, too right I did. You know, I loved being the centre of attention, the main man, and I loved having the pressure of people's expectations on me. And I didn't like letting people down. I don't like letting people down. And, you know, I wanted to entertain people. You know, the winning was great, but the winning wasn't always the be-all and end-all to me. And that's kind of what made me, I think, a little bit different. Everybody expects footballers to be, you have to win, you have to win, you have to win. And yes, I do have that in me. I'm not a very good loser. I don't like losing. But I also have a part of me that wanted to entertain people and wanted to put smiles on people's faces, and sticking one in the top corner from 25 yards was a pretty good way of doing that. I had a fantastic childhood in Guernsey. I really did. I couldn't have wished to have grown up in a better place, really. It was such a brilliant, safe environment to grow up in. Pretty laid-back way of life, as you might guess from the way that I am or was as a player, and as a bloke I am pretty much. Anyone home? Morning, Father.
Hello, son.
All right.
All right, yeah, good.
Jolly good. Kettle on? It was just a wonderful, carefree time in my life where I was able to go out and play all kinds of sport. I played most ball sports as a kid growing up, and having a go at a lot of sports I think also helps you in your development, your coordination and everything. I think that helped me eventually as a footballer as well. That's where I lived for the 16 years before I left to go to Southampton, here on the Genet estate. I'm sure it was better painted back then when I was growing up, but hey-ho. Fantastic memories here, though. Brilliant times. Growing up here as a kid, playing my football with all my mates, any little bit of grass that we could find. We were never short of picking teams for football matches, that's for sure. And also I had three big brothers, and all their mates used to play as well. So growing up playing against kids that were older than me, I think definitely helped me in my development as a footballer. But I'm sure I can remember even playing with the older boys. I think I was still the first pick. Outside the front of our house, you know, we didn't have a big garden, but we had a wall that I used to practice with a tennis ball, throwing the ball up against the side of the house, and I'd take it on my chest and I'd volley it against the side of next door's shed. And I'd spend ages doing it. And I always remember that it was split into three sections, the back of the shed. There was two lines coming down. So I'd take the ball on my chest and I'd test myself that it had to go in that third of the net or this third of the net, never down the middle, because obviously that's where the goalkeeper will be standing. I never had a goalie, but you had to use your imagination as a kid, and I had a pretty good imagination. This is where I used to play a lot of my football when I was a kid. It seemed so much bigger back then. We used to have 7 and 8 aside games on this bit of grass here. Back in those days, I can remember playing on here, pretending to be Glenn Hoddle. A dream. I'd just come in from playing an imaginary game of football, England versus Germany. Hoddle goes over to the corner. Le Tissier is waiting at the edge of the area. The corner comes across, and time for school. It was only a dream. I played in an under-11s football tournament for my school, and I think I just turned 8 at the time. And it was quite unusual for a kid 3 years below to be playing in that under-11 tournament. So at that point, I kind of thought, I must be pretty good at this if I'm playing with the age group 3 years up from me. And I remember in the final of that tournament scoring both the goals and us winning the final 2-1. So that was probably around the time that I thought, yeah, I'd love to be a professional footballer.
Well, his brother came through first the year before, and in many ways he was a better player than Matt. But he couldn't handle coming over and the difference in the pro game, because he found it difficult to come and live somewhere else, live in digs, train every day. It was a totally different game to what he was used to. So he went back and actually made it easier for Matt, because he told Matt all about how the game was, the pro game was at Southampton. That helped Matt settle, no question.
I think my mum and dad also played a part in that, because they saw that perhaps my older brothers had gotten homesick, and I don't think they wanted it to happen to me. So they actually sent me away for soccer schools as a kid, away from them. So I'd go with a mate and my mate's dad, and we'd come over to the mainland for a week at a time and just do a soccer school in the half-term holidays or the summer holidays. And it kind of got me used to being off the island for a little bit. And so when it came to making that decision when Southampton offered me a contract as an apprentice, I was ready and I wasn't scared to leave the island on my own, even at 16 years of age. I'm guessing that it was quite an emotional time for you, which it was for me. How much did you miss me, and how much did you think, I'm pleased he's gone?
I was pleased that you were doing what you wanted to do. I was very proud of you.
Do you remember the feelings that you had when you had the chances to go to the mainland?
Yeah, because I went for a few weeks and stayed with the family. Unfortunately, I didn't have the same luck you had where you were put with the footballing family, and plus the fact that I was homesick anyway. And I mean, I don't regret it, because I know at the time I couldn't have done it, unfortunately. Kevin was the best goal scorer that Guernsey has ever produced. Carl was probably the finest midfielder that Guernsey has ever produced, and I had the best bits of both of them. Unfortunately, Mark was the defender, so he never gets any credit, but he was decent. This is the journey I took when I was 16 years of age. I flew from Guernsey to Southampton. I had no idea where I was going to be sleeping that night. I was very nervous as a 16-year-old. Leaving home, didn't really have a clue about the wider world. I was very naive. But I just knew I wanted to be a professional footballer. And if I was going to do that, this is what I had to do. That journey I took was an incredible one in the end, and I've got no regrets.
He came over from Guernsey, and he was on trial, and we saw this tall, thin, gangly boy, played on the right wing. But as time went on, we realised that, well, I realised that the boy had a lot of talent.
Matty signed, and he would come on the school holidays like the others, and then when he got to 16, I'd left then, but he was naturally signed, given an apprenticeship.
The first year of that contract was £26 a week, and the second year was £35 a week, I think it went up to. We were on a win bonus for the youth team. I think we were on £4 a win and £2 for a draw. So, yeah, it wasn't a great deal of money, but that never even crossed my mind.
Those years from the youth team to breaking through at Southampton, Dave Merrington, was he a big influence there?
Oh, Dave was a massive influence. I think those years as the youth team manager were definitely his best ones, and any players that came through there will tell you just what a magnificent influence he was.
Dave Merrington had them exactly right. He was very strict, very knowledgeable, very dogmatic. He sets the standards that they have to reach. And those standards, if they're set high enough, then the players have to rise to them.
They have to see a passion in you, that you love the game. You know, you want to win, you want it right, you want to pass the ball, you want to see skill, you want to see good tackling, you want to see players who can head the ball, goalkeepers who will command their 6-yard box. And it's that enthusiasm that has to rub off onto them.
The first season that I played in Southampton's youth team, I think I scored 59 goals, and at that point I thought, yeah, I think I can do this. And then my chance came quite early on in the following season.
Top-notch Saints,
Southampton 2, Spurs. Tissier controlled a crossfield pass from Blake superbly before splitting Tottenham's defence with an. He's just a slip of a lad at 17, but Tissier showed remarkable composure and demonstrated a positive nature, which augurs well for the future.
The Southampton team of the 89-90 season was probably the best one that I played in. We finished 7th in the First Division that year. We were almost playing 4-2-4 back then, because you had myself and Rodney Wallace were playing as wide men. Alan Shearer and Paul Rideout were playing up front. I think Jimmy Case and Glenn Cockerell were in the centre of midfield.
Every team had a couple of players that could dish it out, as they say, and I was the one that was capable, because I've been in the game a long time, and the other team was a bit wary of me. In the end, I got made captain, so it was one of those roles where you're trying to do everybody else's job, as well as torture them, as well as look after them.
I like to think Matt and Shearer and Rodney Wallace learned a lot of Jimmy Case, who was captain and very influential. A bit of a rascal, but you like that part of him as well.
Winning that PFA Young Player of the Year award, what did that award mean to you?
That was very special, because obviously that's voted by the rest of your players that you've played against the whole season. So I remember receiving the award by a Southampton legend. Terry Payne was actually the guy that handed over the trophy to me.
He was a good lad, Ian. He himself had been a defender. I think he saw the weaknesses in Matty more than the strengths, probably. And he played him in that wider position, which didn't suit.
It wasn't what I wanted out of football. I stuck it out because I loved the football club. He dropped me on occasions, and I had to go back and prove my worth, and he'd send me back to Dave Merrington, actually.
When people say he was lazy, no, Matt wasn't lazy. Matt loved the game as much as I loved the game, and would work at the game as long as he had the ball.
Some of the stuff he did to win us games, especially down at the Dell, you know, he'd turn a game on its head with 2 or 3 bits of magic. The Newcastle game, where he's done the trick where he sort of fetches it off the side of his, like, back flicks it over the defender's head and slides the goalie. When he scored 2 goals that day, we probably had 20% possession in the whole game. They battered us.